Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for the third and final part of the Q&A, so let's go ahead and knock this out. Alright, first question. If you have fat on the back of your arms, are you better off doing exercises which target those exact areas? Or are you better off just doing basic cardio, i.e. running, bike, etc.? Considering diet is in check. Okay, let's get with reality here. There is no spot reduction. You cannot pick where you lose body fat through your physical activity. There are drugs that can shift this. There are hormones that can shift this. There are surgeries that can shift this. You do not get to pick where you lose body fat. So what you need to understand is that if you train your arms, they're going to get bigger, right? They're going to get bigger. They're going to gain muscle. That's the purpose of resistance training, to gain muscle and strength. Now, that being said, if your triceps get bigger and you keep the exact same amount of fat on the back of your arms, it's going to spread the fat a little thinner. It will probably look slightly more defined. And it's just because you've dispersed the fat, stretched it more over the same amount of muscle underneath it because it's become larger in diameter. But you can't pick where you lose fat. What I'm going to recommend, though, if your goal is to lose body fat, go ahead and get as strong as possible on all your basic lifts. Why? Because it will increase your metabolism, it'll increase your work capacity, and it will increase your ability to burn more calories. In other words, a person who can squat 400 pounds and overhead press 200 pounds burns more calories doing their training and their cardio than someone who squats 200 and overhead presses 100. In other words, you double your strength. Your total energy turnover during all your other physical activities will increase. Your ability to do cardio and burn calories will increase. The amount of calories you burn in a workout will increase. So go ahead and gain muscle. Gaining muscle is the best thing you could possibly do for long-term changes in body composition, because you will reach a point eventually, if you train hard enough, to where your maintenance calories will become your fat loss calories, or your bulking calories. The amount of calories that you needed to eat to gain a pound every week will eventually become your weight loss calories. You'll lose weight on that same amount of food. That's not a bad thing if you struggle with fat loss. All right, next question. Hey Jason, I've recently started training in MMA 3 to 4 times per week. I want to still build my strength on all my basic lifts: squat, bench, power, clean, overhead press, chin-ups. I'm currently lifting twice per week, where I do one heavy day and one light day. I also do the greasing the groove method on chin-ups daily. What's your opinion on this? Thanks for all your help, Jason. I think you can increase your training frequency, to be fair. Doing a full body like that twice a week on a concurrent training would be okay for your MMA when you first start, so that you can adapt to the workload of the MMA. It also, when you go to a competitive season, you might want to train that way the last 3 to 4 weeks before every match, right? But once you're adapted to the MMA training, you're going to want to increase that. You're going to want to go to a 3 to 4 day a week program, either 3-day full body or some sort of movement pattern split 4 days. Something like that is going to be a little more ideal once you get used to the MMA training. So just keep that in mind. This is just what you're doing right now is probably okay as a temporary thing. Again, full body 2 days a week concurrent while you're getting used to it. But after 3 to 4 weeks of this, once you adapt to the additional MMA training, you're going to want to add training days back in on a proper system. But I think as far as your exercise selection, I think a lot of those lifts are going to help you with your MMA, right? You're going to get better at MMA because of this. In fact, your 5 exercises you picked, I would say, is a real good combination of exercises to do for anyone competing in a contact sport. I think it's a pretty good selection. I think it'll serve you well. So yeah, get as strong as you possibly can on those 5. Get as strong as you possibly can on them. All right, next question. I've found that a little wider stance on bent over rows alleviates the stress on my lower back a bit and allows me to progress a lot easier. Am I missing out on erector development, or is this adjustment okay? Well, I don't know about the wider stance on it. I'm not sure I would recommend that. I think shoulder width is ideal. So I've got to wonder what's going on. And if you're getting erector pain at shoulder width, assuming you weren't really, really narrow, I don't know. Maybe you need to tighten your form up on your rows, because your erectors shouldn't be particularly fatigued on rows. It's not a primary exercise for them. So maybe you have weak erectors. Maybe you're cheating way too much on your rows. Might be something for you to clean up there and figure out. Because if you're cheating so much on your rows that they're getting fatigued, that's going to affect all your other exercises. That's going to affect your squats. It's going to affect your deadlifts. Rows shouldn't be particularly fatiguing for your spinal erectors. And you certainly shouldn't be feeling any pain there. You might want to see what's going on. Maybe even get that checked out by a doctor. Assuming that rows aren't the heaviest back exercise you do. I'm going to assume you actually squat and deadlift also here. And if you don't, then I think we know what our culprit is. You just have a weak lower back. All right, next question. Hi, Jason. What do you think is the place of the front squat and the back in a good training program? Could the front squat be superior for long-limbed lifters who are much stronger with more forward lean in the back squat? I'm mostly interested in strongman. I'm not sure the benefits of doing back squat versus doing more front squat. Thanks. Well, if you want to be strongman, you need to do more back squats. Front squats are going to be an accessory. The back squat is going to allow you to use more weight and build more strength and more muscle mass. All right. The front squat is more of an accessory exercise. Now, there are certain sports where the front squat becomes more valuable than others. And I think as a strongman, building a strength base on the front squat would be a real good idea, because you're going to pick up things in a lot of different awkward positions. And I think if I competed in your particular sport, I would actually dedicate a lot of time to getting strong on both exercises. Obviously, people like Olympic lifters, the front squat is also a top accessory exercise, power lifters, everything else. But for strongmen, I do understand where you're coming from, because you're going to have to pick up and carry implements. They're going to be in a front position. I think the front squat can actually become very, very valuable for that particular sport, just like I recommend a lot of front squatting for football players. But I don't think you can replace the back squat with it completely. I really think you're going to want to get strong at both because of the nature of your specific sport. I think it would behoove you to go ahead and build up a base on both of those lifts, and you probably need to train both of them every week. That's what I would recommend. All right, next question. I wanted to ask you, does back or front squatting full range of motion at least 1 or 2 days per week with 8 to 10 sets protocol with 4 to 6 reps followed by deadlifts in the same scheme stunt growth? I'm currently 73 kilos and 174. How can I convince my dad that strength training is beneficial for me? Also, this kid's 16 years old, so that's why he was asking, because he had 2 questions. So I picked this latter one. No. Training on exercises that are axial loading lifts in your teens, if done correctly, are absolutely not going to stunt your growth. That is rumors that teenagers use who don't want to train their legs. They say, well, I don't, because I don't want to risk being a manlet, bro. No, it's not going to stunt your growth at all. What we know is that proper training with resistance training and proper progressive overload increases bone density in everyone, irrespective of age group. So if you are old enough, and you are clearly old enough at 16 to use good form, because you can do things like control eccentrics and everything, you're well into an age where you should be able to do that. It's when you start talking kids under 12, we have to figure out who is able to control their eccentrics or not. That's not you. So there's no reason for you not to resistance train. If anything, resistance training on these basic axial loading exercises is going to increase your bone density in the long term. And if you increase bone density starting at a younger age, you get good nutrition. If anything, it might help you reach your full height potential. This whole idea of proper lifting stunting growth is talking about sliding of the epiphyseal plates, and it has nothing to do with your spine. And a physial plate sliding is very, very, very rare when proper form is used, which is your concern. And in this case, you're old enough, you should be able to learn proper form. This should not be a problem. So yeah, your dad needs to understand that. He needs to understand that resistance training creates adaptive stress. And if anything, it has the potential to help reach your full potential for growth. And I think more importantly, because your resistance training, your appetite's going to go up. You're probably going to eat more. You're going to get more vitamins. You're going to get more minerals. Combined with the additional bone density, if anything, it's going to help your long-term bone and structure health. It's not going to hinder it. It's going to help you reach your potential. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.